not all walks and runs are identical. For instance, there is a difference between the run of a female to that of a male. A female tends to hold her elbows and knees closer together than a male. There is also a marked difference between the walks of a child to an older person. An animator needs to study movement before reproducing it on paper. The stride will determine the speed of a walk. A person in a hurry will have a longer stride than a person shuffling along. The latter would have short, slow steps. A determined character, for instance, will have a long stride, swing his arms wider, and the walk would be more aggressive. His body will lean forward, his hands might be balled into fists, and his expression will convey his mood. The timing of this walk is also different from the conventional. I've given this character's walk more snap by its timing, by spacing some in-betweens further apart, so that the character moves up slowly, then down quickly into the stride pose. Even when the drawings are spaced differently, the feet on the ground must still be evenly spaced. As you can see on the 16-position timing clock, 2 in-betweens have been crossed out, each one just before the stride, to give it more snap, making this a 14-drawing walk cycle. A run has no definitive stride pose, as the 2 feet are never on the ground at the same time. The first key of a run would be the impact pose, as this is the strongest pose of the action. The usual stride pose for a walk is when the legs are furthest apart, but in a run, the character, in this pose, is usually airborne. When the leading foot contacts the ground, the back foot has started moving forward. There are also no true in-between for a fast run, and a run is usually done, one drawing after the other. The next pose, after the impact, is when the weight of the character squashes down on the leg, then the leg forces the body upward again, to lift the character clear off the ground. This, and the following pose for the body, can be in-betweens, but as the legs are not, the animator has to supply roughs of these poses. For the second step of the run, the first series of drawings are reversed. When animating 2 or more characters walking together, offset the stride poses, so they are not walking in unison, unless they are marching. Characters of different sizes can also be a problem. The timing and stride lengths will be different. They could be animated separately, or, if you need them on the same drawing, some calculating will be needed to have both walks in the same cycle. A basic knowledge of anatomy is important to make limbs bend and move correctly, especially when animating animals. Rubber hosing was often used in the early days of animation, but as cartoons have become more sophisticated, with most characters, more natural movements are needed to make the actions believable. Four-legged walks and runs are more complex than bipedal characters. This realistic walk for a horse is an example. When the front legs are in the stride pose, the back legs are just one stage ahead of the mid-stride, and when the back legs are in the stride, the front legs will be one stage ahead. Most animals, like humans, move their front legs and back legs opposite to each other. But cats move the front and back leg on the same side of the body at the same time. Other animals that do the same are giraffes and camels. Horses are sometimes trained to do that, as in pacing races. If you need realistic actions, study animals before attempting to animate them. Runs are often animated on ones or single frame. Double frame slows the action. When animating cartoony characters, both front and back legs can be in stride poses, but opposite to each other. When the front and back legs on the same side are furthest apart, the legs on the opposite side are the closest. Breakdowns and in-betweens are done the same as usual. Experiment, and see if you can create a distinctive and unique walk for your character, different from the conventional.